Let me share the screen with you. So the screen is visible to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So if you remember, yesterday we had just started with the general discussion on industrial automation, and we have tried to understand the definition of industrial automation. Okay. So we have just concluded it in that way that whatever efforts or advancements you are doing in particular type of job, or modifications which you are doing to a particular job, either it is a production industry or it is a service industry, good industry, which in the end reduces the human effort in one or the other way. Okay, it adds to the automation level. So automation is nothing but the effort or the advancements or the technologies which we utilize to for a system, and if that system comes as a single big unit, it becomes an industry. So for a industry, if we are doing some technological advancements in such a way that you are able to reduce the human effort, so that will be called an industrial automation. Okay. So lastly, we have tried to understand the scope of industrialization. That is, automation is a step beyond mechanization. If you are mechanizing a particular process, then automation is one step ahead, such that the mechanization is able to perform on its own without much of the human intervention or reduced human intervention. Okay. So I hope it is understood. So next comes the industrial automation levels, or also called industrial automation pyramid. Okay, so this is a pyramid shape which is showing a particular process or machine which needs to be automated. So it will be having these different levels which will be counted as industrial automation levels. So basically industrial automation levels will cater to the first three levels. The next two levels, that is level 3 and 4, although they are part of industrial automation, but they are having industrial IT part also included in it. Okay. So industrial IT. Okay. So what are these 5 levels? You can see. So levels are 5, but we name it from starting from level 0. So total up to level 4. So level 0, level 1, level 2, level 3, and level 4. So we will try to understand what are these automation levels and why it is a pyramid. Why not a square shaped graph? Why it is squeezing when we are going upwards to the peak? So there is a reason for that. We will try to understand that. Okay. So here, what is happening? You have a process and a machine which needs to be automated. You can automate a machine like you have given an example yesterday also about a CNC machine, which was a conventional, you can say, cutting machine earlier. We added some computer to it and we did programming, and accordingly it started working on its own. So human intervention reduced. So it started to do the repeated jobs by itself based on the program which we have entered into the machine. Okay. So that would be called a automated machine. Similarly, you can automate a whole process. Whole production process can be automated. Whole of the goods and services process can be automated. Okay. How you will automate the whole process? If we are seeing a normal production cycle, what happens in a normal production cycle? The idea comes from a scratch, and what is the finished product is the end of the production cycle. So production cycle starts with the human need and it ends with the fulfillment of that need. So need is the starting of any process. Similarly, for a production cycle also, need is the start and fulfillment is the end. Okay. Getting it?
Yes.
So what does that mean? So in between whatever production, actual production is taking place, it is just the part of this need to fulfillment process. You are moving from need to fulfillment and it is just the part of it, which is basically enabling this thing. So we are enabling the fulfillment of our need through the production process. So what does that mean? Now, suppose you are doing some survey in the market and you are coming up with some idea which is required in the, or a product is required in the market. So somebody is, suppose there was no chair, somebody was telling you that we require such a thing where we would be able to sit and relax. We could do our work sitting on a particular type of thing. So I'm just giving an example to it. Okay. So what you did is you just had an idea that there is some requirement in the market for something. Then you come up with some idea. So the need generates the idea. Okay. So you come up with some idea because you have uh, sensed that there is some type of need required in the market. So accordingly, you had some idea and you started brainstorming on that idea that I need to develop a particular thing accordingly. Okay. So you started having a mindstorm with your colleagues also and amongst your peers also. Then you started making some rough sketches on the sheet according to the product which you want to develop. You will make some drafts and rough sketches on the sheet to come up with that idea. So these are my requirements and it should look like this. The solution for this problem should look like this. Okay. Then you start working on, once you have developed the design, particular shape of the thing, geometry of the thing you have decided. Now you are coming up with the design of the thing. Okay. So that design will comprise of the type of material you would be using, type of effort or the application which would be required for that product. And accordingly, you will be designing it. That means you will be giving it dimensions and material accordingly so that it is able to fulfill your need. Once that whole of the design part is completed, then you will make the final drawings of it and you will send it to the production department, which will make the product. Actually, it will physically make the product. Earlier, it was only in the computers or in your mind or in the paper sheets. Okay. When you have submitted your idea to the production department, what they will do, they will make the physical product out of it. And then you will quality check it, you will pack it, send it to the market, and finally the product will be available in the market as a physical product. So the cycle starting from the need to the fulfillment of need has number of sub parts where you do the designing part also and the manufacturing part also. So from this to this, the main two parts are there, designing and manufacturing. Okay, so whole of the thing can be divided into two parts: designing, manufacturing. Okay, so this is the simple product cycle which we follow for any product. Okay, so here we can say that a process, so number of processes are there, either it is a manufacturing process or a designing process. It can be automated, or a single machine can also be automated. Okay, so number of processes which are followed for production of a product can also be automated, or if you take a single machine, that can also be automated. So if we are just taking the manufacturing process, so here I will if we are talking of the process, let us compare it to the manufacturing process. So this is a manufacturing process. It will have proper CNC machine where the product is actually produced. You will have material handling systems where the material will be moved from one part to the other part within the factory premises. You will have quality check also. You will have inventory control also. You will have packaging also. So number of processes are occurring within the manufacturing process. So CNC process is basically the production process which we are considering. This is material handling process. This is quality check process. This is inventory control process. And lastly, you may have a packaging process. So these could be performed manually also, but with the automation system, these processes are automated. Each of this process can be automated. So example, CNC machine, conventional machines can be there. If you automate it, CNC machines could be there. Similarly, material handling systems, manual material handling systems can be there. There can be forklifts which are driven by the operators, factory operators, or there can be this carriers where you put the goods on that carrier and move it manually, or there could be automated systems where the conveyor belts are moving on their own. Conveyor belts is an example of automated material handling system. Or you can have automated guided vehicles where these vehicles move within the factory premises. They are guided by some laser system or optical system or some manual system, rail system. Okay, they are called automated material handling system. Similarly, quality control can be done manually also. So one product which you have manufactured, either it is okay or not, that can be inspected by a visual inspection can be done by the operator. That is a manual inspection. It can also be automated using some robotic vision system. You can add cameras to a particular quality control room, and there the snapshots of that product can be taken and compared with the product which actually needs to be manufactured. That means a benchmark product. It can be compared with that benchmark product to check whether there are some errors or not. So you have, what you have done is you have automated the quality control system. Then comes the inventory control. Inventory means you are putting the objects, whatever has been manufactured, now that needs to be put in the bins and stored at places within the factory premises so that it can be exported to the required places. So that can be done manually also by the workers. That can be done by forklifts or some, there are ASRR system, automatic storage and retrieval systems are there, which is a type of robotic system which moves to larger bins and automatically place the objects there and retrieve the objects there. Okay, so automation can be done at that level also. Finally, the packaging in the boxes, that can be a manual process also, that can be a automated process also. So why I'm explaining these things to you, because I'm trying to say that a process or a machine, both can be automated. Okay, So you can apply automation at a very small level also, like at a production level only, or you can apply it for the whole process, that is a manufacturing process level also. Okay. Now, if we see the automation, then for starting the automation, the level 0, which is the sensor and actuators, it is the closest thing to the process or a machine. So if we want to automate a system, we will start with the sensor and actuator, which is actually present closest to the process or a machine which needs to be automated. That means a sensor will sense a small movement of any machine or a process. It will sense it and then give the results to the actuator, which will actuate a process to give you some output. Okay. So just a second. Just a second, I'll be back in like 20 to 30 seconds. Okay, just wait for. Yes, sorry for the interruption. So I hope you are with me, everyone. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yes, everyone is present.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Sanidhya, Vibhor,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Rishabh, Balraj.
Yes, sir, present.
Balraj, you were not
Yes,
present
sir.
yesterday?
Present. No, sir.
Okay, okay. I think today everyone is present. Okay, good. So continuing with the pyramid, industrial automation level or the pyramid. So what we're trying to see is that for any process or a machine, we can automate it, and for automation, these are the levels which are required for complete automation of the system. We can have a automation level up to level 2 also, but for further large scale automation or like yesterday we were talking of automation in industry 4.0, there we will be having implementation of the higher levels also. Okay, you, if you are completing your automation up to level 2 also, that is automated, but for the bigger production levels or enterprise system, we should have these 2 levels also. Okay. Okay, coming back to the level 0, that is sensor and actuator. What does this level 0 means? That if you are starting the automation, then this is the foremost part which is required for automation. And it is the closest level which is associated with any process or the machine. Okay. So taking an example of CNC, in CNC we have sensors which record the movement of the motor. So what does a simple CNC machine do? It will move the workpiece in, if we are talking of the milling process, it will move the workpiece in X and Y direction, and it will move the tool in the Z direction. That means vertical direction. So moving the workpiece in the horizontal XY plane and moving the tool in the vertical Z plane, Z axis. Okay, that is the basic part of the CNC machine. And how the sensors are working in it? Sensors are actually measuring the distance moved in the XY direction or the Z direction, and then giving a signal to the actuator. What is the actuator in this case? Actuator is the motor. So the electric motor, or the, in this case, we are using a servo motor. Servo motor is the motor which takes some feedback from the sensor. Okay. So it is taking the feedback from the sensor that I want to move 10 millimeter distance in X direction. So it has already calculated in its computer system that for moving 10 millimeter in the X direction, we will require this number of rotations for the motor. And now the motor is taking signal that now I need to move this much rotations. Once it has completed that rotation, it will again take the feedback from the sensor and compare its final result with the initial result. And if they both come out to be equal, then it will stop the process. Okay. That means sensor is sensing initially it is sensing the amount of distance moved, need to be moved, which is from the program which has been okay. So it has been given by the, you can see that you are, I think this is on. Recording is on or off? Let me check. Recording is on, so okay, recording is on. Yes. So I was discussing that how the sensors and actuators are working. So sensor is sensing the movement of the machine, and it is giving signal to the actuator, that is the electric motor, and electric motor is then actuating the process. So actuator is nothing but the, what do you understand by actuator? Which actuates a process. Either it is a movement process or it is a measuring process. So it could be anything. If a thermometer is used, then thermometer as an actuator will measure the temperature. If a motor is used, then actuator will give a motion to the object. Okay. So sensors and actuators, they are level 0 and are directly associated with the process. Then secondly comes the automatic control. So overall control of this sensor and actuator is through the control system. A control system is nothing but it can be a microcontroller. Like for computers, it is a microprocessor and a complete motherboard system which comprises of the processor, the RAM, and everything else. Okay. So it is a microcontroller process which is controlling number of sensors and actuators and giving signal to each sensor and actuator which needs to be actuated at a given point of time. Okay. So suppose we will again take an example of CNC machine. Suppose three type of for three type of motions in X, Y, and Z direction, three different motors are placed. So if the programmer has given the movement in X direction first, then what will happen? The automatic control system will read that instruction from the program and give the instruction to the sensor which is placed at X axis only. It will not actuate any sensor in the Y and Z direction. So automatic control will decide which sensor to enable and which actuator to enable at a given period of time as per the given program. Okay, that is the part of automatic control system. So it comes at next level as it is controlling both sensors and actuators. Next comes the level 2, that is the supervisory control. That is also part of industrial automation up to a given level. Okay. So the first two level, they completely are associated with the industrial automation. Level 2 is somewhat part of industrial automation and somewhat part of industrial IT, supervisory control. Okay. So it is an intermediate level to both the parts. So supervisory control is a system of computers and networking systems which is basically controlling a number of automatic control systems. Okay, and it is taking the command from some humans and giving the instruction or a computer system to the humans. Okay, so what does a supervisory control system will do? So supervisory control is now at a bigger level where so automatic control तक हमारी एक CNC machine का example हम ले सकते हैं, है ना? अब suppose there are 10 number of CNCs installed and within those 10 CNC machines, you have done some networking which is controlled by a number of computer or a single computer also, okay, which is the server which is controlling all the processes. And in between those, there is a conveyor also running, a robotic system also working in between that. So you need to take care of those also. Okay. So everything what a automatic control system is enabling and disabling at a given time period can be further checked upon and given instructions to through a supervisory control system. Okay. Supervisory control system is a bigger system having number of automatic control systems kept in the under the human intervention. Okay, this is kept under the human intervention mostly, and now you can check the performance of each system which is automatically working on the computers. So Abdin, simply you must have seen either in the industries also or in the movies also or in some television that if a mechanical system or a mechanical industry, automation industry, if we take example of automobile industry or some power industry, जैसे आपका thermal power plant है, and any other plant which is working, so there is a person which is sitting in a room and he is inspecting everything sitting in the room through computers. Okay, there is a traffic control system also. Number of videos are available where it is shown that a traffic management system is working. Number of cameras are installed on the streets and a person is monitoring each and everything. Okay, so that is the supervisory control, that you are having a computer where from where you can inspect the things also which are going on and you can command also. Those things can be commanded also. That is the next level, that is supervisory control. So we can see that as we move upwards in this direction, the level of automation is basically, the level of automation is decreasing as we are moving to this part. That is why it is a pyramid shape. It is a pyramid shape because the level of automation, you can say it is The amount of automation level is decreasing because the human intervention will keep on increasing. Sensors and actuators, they are completely automated systems. Then comes the automatic control. Then as you move upwards, the human intervention is increasing. Okay. Now, when we are coming to level 3, that is the production control system. Now, production control system is everything which is looking overall to to the complete production system. Like it would be looking towards the designing part also and manufacturing part also. तो अभी जैसे मैंने मैन्युफैक्चरिंग पार्ट का आपको बाइफर्केशन करके सारी प्रोसेसेस एक एक करके समझाई थी, तो वो कंप्लीट प्रोसेस को जो आपका डिजाइन करना है, इंप्लीमेंट करना है, एंड यू हैव टू टेक सम डिसीजन फॉर दैट हाउ मच प्रोडक्शन नीड्स टू बी completed in this month or in this week's time. Okay, that decision making and implementation is taken at the production control level, and you implement those. Okay, so that is why I have told you yesterday also that wherever decision making needs to be taken care of, there human intervention increases, but for the processes which are repeatedly done, there the automation level can be increased. It can be completely automated. So now at the production control level, what we are doing is we are getting order from the market and we are producing a product for a given quantity in a particular given time. So for that, we will be making a number of changes in the whole system, and those everything would be controlled. That means your designing part, production part, quality check part, inventory part, everything will be controlled under the production control system. So production control system will take care of all this. And if it is an automated system, then everything will be available on the desk of the production manager, which will be taking all the data through the implementation of industrial IT. That means we have now connected each and every system through computers to each other, so that each and every data can be captured and transferred to the production manager through the hardwired networking lines. Okay, that is the production control system. Last comes the level 4 is the enterprise level, where what is happening, where the actual a team is working and it is giving you, the marketing team is working, human resource team is working. Okay, that means the product here, from here till here, this is the production department of the industry. This is the production department of the industry. Now industry also works at different levels. It is trying to produce new products and market it. तो उसकी मार्केटिंग करनी, एडवर्टाइजमेंट करनी, लोग रिक्रूट करने, मशीन्स परचेज करनी. So everything, that part comes at the enterprise level. Okay, so they are not technical person, but they maybe persons which are like MBA and they are recruiting people. They are giving you some clerical work they are doing. They are purchasing items and doing some banking work, doing some, you can say CAs could be there, okay, chartered accountants could be there, which are working. But data for each requirement is still be coming from the production department. Whatever product you are trying to produce or you are trying to introduce, that needs to be told to the enterprise department. Then only they will hire the persons, advertisement the parts, products, and do some purchasing activity accordingly. Okay, so these are all the levels. So now, what is this spatial versus time scale, which is increasing as we move upwards? So spatial versus time scale. So spatial means, so as this is increasing upwards, this forms a complete pyramid. Spatial means the amount of a level which is actually associated with the process or a machine. So as we move a sensor is a very small part for a given process or a given machine. And as we keep on moving upward, the system becomes bigger. Automatic control is somewhat bigger than the sensor. And this automatic control, supervisory control is further bigger than the automatic control. And this system becomes bigger as we move upwards. And the sensor will be having only the information of a small, very small process which is occurring in the machine. So if we discuss the same example of CNC machine, then a sensor and actuator will only be associated with yes, sensor and actuator will only be a single sensor and actuator is only associated with a single movement of a single machine. Okay, whereas an automatic control system is associated with a number of sensors, and a single supervisory control is associated with the number of automatic control systems. Okay, so that is why the spatial data which is available with the sensor is very small in nature. It is very small in nature. Okay, and if we talk of the time scale, that means for how much time period the data is available with the sensor. A sensor will be capturing the motion of the particular machine for, like, it can take around lakhs of value for a given second also. So it will have so much of data. So that means its time scale is very small. It can take data of a microsecond also. But a automatic control system, it is adding, subtracting the data of number of sensors. There could be errors in the data captured by the sensors also. Okay, so it will be computing the data for number of minutes, number of hours, and then providing the actual graphs or overall mean value to the supervisory control. And supervisory control is providing the data for, suppose, 1 day or 2 days to the production control department. And production control is taking into consideration the data of the whole week, whereas the enterprise level is taking the data of whole month. So it's like that. So what I am trying to say is time scale for sensor and actuator is very small, because the sensor is capturing the data for where even a microsecond also. But automatic control is only considering the data for number of minutes and hours. That means it is considering the mean value taken by the sensor. And the supervisory control is taking the data from the automatic control at much higher level, that is for minutes and hours, and taking the decision accordingly. And production control department is taking the data from supervisory control for weeks, for days, and enterprise data level is taking the data from production control for months and years. That is why this graph keeps on squeezing upwards as the time scale is, the denominator value is very small. So it keeps on increasing as we move upwards, and spatial data is very small also. ठीक है, तो इसको हम ऐसे नहीं, I am just said it wrong. Spatial data, it is very small, and time scale data for sensor is very large. So that is why it is broader at the bottom. And as you move upwards, the spatial data keeps on decreasing, and time scale data keeps on spatial data keeps on increasing, and time scale data keeps on decreasing. That is why it keeps on squeezing as we move upwards. Okay, so don't get confused. So spatial data is the data which is actually associated with how much number of processes we are talking of. So sensor is associated with very small processes. It is associated with only a single process of a single machine. Okay, but its time scale is very large because it can capture large amount of data for that single process. Whereas automatic control is having association with the large number of processes, but its time scale will be a little less. Okay. So this is how the pyramid works. So I think I have explained it to you in a very detailed manner. So kindly go through it, just see it. And if you have any doubt, you can ask. Yes, any doubt?
No doubt for now, sir.
हाँ जी, नींद आ गई थी, नींद आ गई?
No doubt.
No doubt. चलो.
नहीं
Good,
sir.
good, good. So what I will be doing is I will be giving each of you an exercise in the end when we complete this topic. I would be giving you one exercise where you would be taking up one process, okay, associated with an industry where automation has been implemented, and you will discuss how for that process various level of automations have been implemented. Okay, you can take the data from internet also, from books also. So whatever you feel like, you can capture that data. So that is why I just want you to become familiar to this process and the levels, so that you are able to associate the process properly with these levels. Okay. So I have given you a number of examples for processes, machines, which can be implemented for automation level in a pyramid, where these various levels have been linked to these processes. So what you will do, you can start working on that thing, and we will have PPTs in the end. What you can do is you can just go through some process which has been implemented in the industry where these automation levels have been put and they have been associated with these processes. Okay, कोई भी आप process ले सकते हो जिसमें ये different industrial automation levels को आप समझाएंगे कि how this process is associated with this level, this process. I will give an example, like if you are considering a particular quality control process. So here you will see that for quality check, if we are implementing automation for the quality control process, what we are doing is we are putting some optical sensors, where these optical sensors are taking images and they are comparing it with the standard images. And if there is some lack in the or error in the product, it is sent back to the manufacturing process. That is, the actuation system is happening. And for the control of this system, a feedback system is there, and a supervisory control system takes care of all the quality control system, and that is the quality department is there, and overall production department is taking care of that quality department. Okay, so such type of examples we will, in the presentation we will have only 2 to 3 slides where you can explain a particular automation which has happened in the industry for a given process, and how these levels are associated with that process that we will discuss. So this activity will be for all of you. You will be discussing that process individually, each one of you. Okay, so that we will you can start working on it, and when time comes, like in either in the this weekend or the next weekend, I will let you know, and then you will present those cases in the class itself. Okay, and that can be counted, will be counted as your submission of assignment 1. So what we'll do is we will just fix the date itself today only. We will keep this activity for the next Friday. So you will be having lecture on next Friday, whatever time it is. So in that lecture, we will be doing this activity. So what you will be doing, you will be presenting a particular process which has been actually, you will be taking a real-time case from the internet where automation has been implemented and how those automation, automated process has been linked to these levels that you will study and understand. Okay. So just go through it. And if you have any doubt, you are not understanding it and you are not trying to able to associate it in any way, you can discuss it in class or after the class. That is your option. Okay. Okay, so this is the detail of automation pyramid, sensors and actuator level that we have studied. This is the closest to the process and machine and the field signal. Field signal is the signal which we are getting from the particular process. Automation control layer. So these can be called layers also. Okay. Levels also, one and the same thing. It consists of automatic control and monitoring systems. Supervisory control, this is the automatic control system which actually sets the targets for the week and it sets the targets and the goals. The production control layer, which is further upward, the decision problems like production targets, resource allocation, task allocation to the machine and maintenance management. Yes, this part I have just forgot to tell you. Production control level also take care of the maintenance of various processes and machines which are working in the industry. So when is the time for the maintenance of a particular machine? This is taken care by the production layer only. Okay. So each working machine needs maintenance after some time. Either it requires oil changing or it requires checking of the electronic parts, whatever it is. Okay. So that regular maintenance needs to be planned before a failure occurs. That is important. Okay. So that is called preventive maintenance. So what does preventive maintenance means? That a maintenance which is done prior to the actual failure which will occur. So we don't want our machines to fail at a given level such that the complete production comes to a halt. What we will do, we will plan a preventive maintenance before that, after a given duration of time, such that we are able to do the maintenance at a given time. So everything is taken care by the production control layer. Lastly, enterprise control layer. This deals with less technical or non-technical aspects like the commercial activities, supply, demand, cash flow, product marketing, etc. Okay, like we have already discussed. So this is the automation pyramid, and I think with this, the lecture time is over. So I will end the lecture over here, and for the next class, we will start from types of automation occurring in the industry. Okay. So any doubts so far? Any doubts?
No, sir.
Okay.
No.
So are you able to get what I am trying to teach? If you are getting bored or any type of problem you are facing, just let me know. No, not a problem. If you want something to be repeated, something which you haven't understood, but kindly be attentive in the class and take interest. That is very important. I know this mode of teaching is not that much interactive because only I am speaking and you are listening. And in some or the other time, you may get distracted by the things going around you and you may not be interested in the teachings. Okay. But try to be attentive in the class. That is why we are trying to keep such type of activities which I am discussed with you, that you will be this activities will be very interesting for you also. Just go to the internet and search for industrial automation in industry. So such type of phrases in the Google search engine, and you will get number of products which have been automated, processes which have been automated. You can consult research papers also for the same. Okay. There is another search engine, the Google, that is Google Scholar. So Google Scholar is another search engine which actually search for the technical things. Okay. So if you are not getting any relevant data in the simple Google search engine, you can go to Google Scholar search engine. There you will get more relevant data. Okay, so kindly come up with the product. The picture of the product should be there, or the process should be there, which has been automated, and you can then discuss the automation levels with the images also. That will be more interactive. So kindly go through those data and ask for any doubts if you have any. So with that note, I will end the class. Okay, so if you don't have any doubt, okay, then I will end it.